Okay, perfect. That'll be approved. So bad for the.
Steve, you arrive at 1801 or 1802?
Do I?
You arrive at 1801 or 1802?
It was close. It was close. You see how long tonight was, that was that. I told him, you guys need to wait for me to get close session. You guys need to wait for me, you have to wait for me. I right when you guys are sitting down, how long it takes to take a break? A moment of time.
Pledge of allegiance too.
Yeah, but
It's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. First item will be roll call.
Brown,
here,
Davis,
here,
Kirk, Grace,
Here.
Hale,
Here.
Walker.
Here. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everyone take a moment of silence if they like. Take a motion to approve the agenda. So moved. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Everyone's had a chance to review the previous minutes. If there are no additions or corrections, you'll stand approved as presented. Visitors, we have Jim Sneed. There was no public comments sent in, so we'll move on to officers' report, the CFO report.
Okay, starts on page 4. We have sales tax receipts. We received $321,931.09 for March. That was $26,000 more than last year for that period. And overall for the year, we're up $41,698, which is 4.36%. Page 5 is our bank balances compared to February the same time and last year same time. And then basically it's just the chart. Any questions on that? Page 7 is the cash reserve analysis. Up a little bit since last month. Up about 20 days. I did remove unit 8 off of our ambulances on order since we received that. And updated that amount. Any questions on any of that? Pages 8 through 13 is the check register. You'll see on page 13, almost right in the middle, there's a deposit there for $427,000, $427,309.86. That is our Windsor payment for the year.
That's what our what?
Our Windsor payment.
Okay.
So that is a favorable variance from what we budgeted of about $94,000. Next year will not be that much because they had to roll back the property tax for 50% of the sales tax. So it'll be less next year, unless their sales tax goes crazy. So
that's why our cash.
Page 14 is last year's budget performance in total. There is an error there on the Medicare Advantage. I pulled down the formula and didn't notice that was incorrect. It is correct on page No, it's 18. So I just want to point out here on the budget performance details, these items in yellow are the only items that were over budget that are on the budget amendment. That's a C here shortly. Questions on any of that? I know there's a lot there, but the big increase was really on the repairs and maintenance, and that was HVAC, and generator repairs. So. No questions on that. Page 18 is the budget performance, just rolled up, it's a summary. Revenue was up about 5% from budgeted, and then operating expenses were only about 77% of budgeted. Page 19 and 20, that's the details of the capital expenses, what we budgeted for, what we purchased, and then what we rolled forward. Page 21 and 22 is the balance sheet year over year. Page 23 and 24 is our profit and loss year over year comparison. See there that increase in revenue over the previous year. Expenses were also increased over last year. And then page 25 is our profit and loss by class. That's where we split out and allocate for Pettis and Windsor. Page 26 shows the net of that. So the year-to-date allocation and change in fund balance for Pettis is about 1.2 million and about 20,000 for Windsor.
The ambulances that remain on order, are the three dates still viable, or is there more supply issues?
As far as I know, they're viable. Now, I won't give you guys dates, and I'm not gonna promise you that it's gonna happen this day, but we've been told that we could receive 2 more trucks this year. So, I mean, that'll get us closer to being caught up, but not quite yet.
Page 27, Steve had asked for a comparison of in-house billing compared to outsourced our billing. So I found the last report that we got from EMSMC, and that is included in your packet there. And that is the first box of numbers. That's what our outsourced billing, our collections, charge per trip were. The PCAD box, in-house billing. The period is 1/1/2023 through 9/30/2023, but we really didn't start billing until 7/1. So there are some bills prior to that, things that EMSMC had billed incorrectly or we hadn't collected on that we rebilled and collected on. So that's why it goes back to 1/1. And I just took what the Zoll AR consultant did and used those numbers there. So that what you were seeing in that report is the same numbers. And then the last box is our variance. So some things are up, some things are down. Overall, our net collection percentage average is up about 2.2%. Charge per trip is up about $5.60. And our cash per trip is up $21 per trip. So, any questions?
Yeah, thank you for doing that. I mean, that shows you guys are doing a really good job. I mean, because charges are charges, but collections is where it's at. So, I mean, $21 a trip is good.
Yeah, and I did also put the trip number. So the EMSMC, that was for 5,647 trips. PCAD is only 1,724. So makes a little difference on that too. So the details of where those numbers came from are the next pages 28 through 35 is just the backup for that. So you guys can see where those numbers came from. Page 36 is our current bills. We have one additional bill for a command vehicle that is $50,922. So that brings it up to 97,000. And I have the invoice here if anybody wants to see that. 97,776.80. And then the details on all those bills are pages 37 for review. 38. Any questions on any of those? Well, that is the end of it.
Any questions on the CFO report? If not, I would take a motion to receive CFO report.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Take a motion to approve payment of the outstanding bills.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Move on to unfinished business, resolution 2024-01, amendment 23 operating budget.
So that's on pages 39 and 40. And just like I was saying, that those yellow items are the items that we increased. By. So revenue increased 377,000. And then expenses, oh, I wrote that down. I have to add it again. It was much less than that. I thought it was about 50,000. Yeah. So it's just ambulance and vehicle maintenance, $1,275, medical waste, 500, oxygen, 13,372. Credit card processing, donations, the HSA increased 5521, computer repair and equipment, shredding service, the patient billing expense, and that repairs and maintenance, that's what I was telling you about, and then the tip expense.
Is there competition for shredding service?
Not sure. I mean, we did this a long time ago, and we put shred it in here, and I think they're the only ones that come and shred it on site.
That's who we use as well.
Yeah. Most anybody that has HIPAA related documents uses shredded. I know there used to be another service in town, but I don't know that that's still
I
there.
don't think they are.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Are there any questions on that? Not, I'll take a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Workers' compensation.
Okay, we had two bids, one from Mike Keith Insurance and one from Assured Partners. Mike Keith bid a company called 7710 Insurance, and their estimated annual premium was $73,975. Oh, sorry, that's one to circle. The total policy cost was $76,194. And with the same wages, MEM was $87,490. Flo did some checking as far as references with other companies that use 7710 in the area, and he got all really good references
Yeah.
from 7710. everybody was happy with them. Due to the lower correct cost, I mean, the rates are lower for 7710 overall, for each class that we have. So MEM's starting rate was 502 for our ambulance service and EMS, and 7710's was 436. So the starting rates were lower, and then they both gave discounts and premium discounts, and to get to that final number, but 7710 is overall lower. So, you know, even if our wages are higher than estimated, we're still gonna save more money with 7710 than we are with MEM. So that would be our recommendation.
So the financial strength is 7710 compared to the other ones, as far as if something happened and all of a sudden, I mean, because one thing that we're finding is a lot of these little work comp businesses are going under and going out.
Christian, do you want to answer that question? Are you there? Can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there you go.
Can
Did you have that question,
you
Christian?
hear me now? Okay, I'm scared. I don't know if I'm coming through the phone or through the computer because the computer wasn't working earlier. Are you hearing any feedback on your end?
Nope, we can hear you.
Okay. So to answer your question, yes, 7710 is financially stable. They are an A-rated company, and they're admitted in the state of Missouri, which means they fall under the purview of the guarantee fund. So if for some reason they became financially insolvent quickly, that we're not, guarantee fund would kick in and pay all the claims, even if the company was unable to. So that should be your confidence in their financial stability to pay their claims. We shared a list of clients that we've had with them. You know, Southern Metro Fire over in Raymore. We don't represent Johnson County Ambulance over in Warrensburg, Missouri, but we don't represent them on the work comp, but I know they've been with 7710 for a few years. You know, we've got Southern Jackson County Fire, another large fire district, and Warsaw Lincoln Ambulance was another one that's close by to you guys. And so far, everybody has had a good experience with them. We wouldn't be bringing them to the table if we didn't feel like they were going to do a good job for you guys. And in addition to the carrier that you select, the broker behind the scenes adds to your representation. So if something does go a little awry, which we don't expect that to happen, but if something does go unexpectedly, we can step in and we're representing you, and we'll work with the company to make sure everything goes smoothly.
Thank you, that answered my question.
Any other questions?
Are there any other questions? I would take a motion to approve.
Based on the rates and the recommendations by staff, I would recommend that we go with 7710.
Do we have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you all. We appreciate your business and your confidence in our firm to represent your insurance needs.
Thank you, Christian.
Dedicated standby rates.
So I think, you want me?
Yeah. they can-
41, page 41, 42, and the rest of the package 3 and 4. There is our standby service agreement, and I included the changes, so that you see what the rates were before and after. basically on the, rates went up $50 an hour across the board besides the quick response vehicle, which is basically a paramedic and the mule paramedic and one of the, either the pickup truck or one of our Tahoes. And the same thing for the, BLS, quick response went up $25 an hour. So, we also added, an extra hour before and after because, we didn't have that previously in the contract, but our crews have to get here, they have to check the truck, they have to get ready. And we paying them for it, so I think it should be something that we charge the vendor, for. You know, the same thing is afterwards, they have to go and wash the truck, make sure everything is good to go, restock the equipment, so that all takes time. So I think that should be something that should be included in the, that we charge the vendor.
At the same rate that we charge them for being vigilant on site, prepared and ready to administer emergency services.
Well, I think it just kept it with the per hour, wage. It's gonna make it hard to figure out exactly when they came in and everything like that, and the event. I mean, we can go by maybe the clock in, but
Could we just charge a $50 in and a $50 out fee?
we could do that, yeah.
Would that be sufficient coverage? And also, do we ever waive these rentals for certain events?
Yes, we do.
What are our criteria for that? Do we have clear
Normally,
criteria?
I think not-for-profit, so we have like the Dream Factory tractor pull, we do not charge for that, just because it goes to a good cause. All the schools normally, if it is school related, we normally don't charge them either.
Like a football game?
Football game, no, so we don't charge, and even like the robotics, we weren't actually gonna charge them, but I guess they budgeted the money for our standby for the robotics, so they insist on paying us, so.
And my only last question on this is, how did our new hourly rates compare to, say, Johnson County or Marshall or whatever?
Well, so that, the way that it has been set up is that the staff come in and years ago, they had made the decision to pay them double time to entice them to come in and work the events. So we weren't having to send our on-duty 911 trucks to go cover them. Johnson County and Marshall don't do that. So our numbers are higher than what theirs are, but we're trying to meet up with what payroll and what fuel and wear and tear on the truck is to try to find a happy medium there to where it's not necessarily grinding the path.
$50 an hour will not cover payroll for 2 people at double time.
When I did the calculation, which is kind of what started all this, if you took the highest paid, which is not normally how it goes, but if you took the highest paid at a double time rate, you're looking at right around $96 an hour. That just covers it. And I mean, there's that it filters down, but I just took the highest worst case scenario. That's what it is. So.
And how many of these events do we have here? Just rough.
5, probably.
Tops.
You're always low.
Well, paid for it.
Yeah, paid events. Again, generally they're all because like the rodeo out here, then we have races, we have horse shows, and those are all events that they require us to be there and not leave, and they're paid events.
So the employees get double time, so that is an incentive for them. And if we got an in and an out and we lose $50 each time, that's $100 for $500 difference then over the course of a year. If we went with a $50 in out fee as opposed to $100. We got what, 9 million in reserve, and we're gonna charge them an extra. I don't know. It just seems to me, even if you do go 75 or 100, rather than put it an hourly rate, I'll just say an in fee and an out fee. But just if I was gonna rent so much an hour for the ambulance, plus it cost me this much for them to prep and bring it, that makes more sense. I don't know, it's just semantics, but it's just me.
I guess they're required to have an ambulance standby for insurance reasons. And most of them are like a state fair on those type of events where there's somebody who get hurt.
You guys need to respond to South Harrison.
I mean, most majority of the events that we charge for, when the people pay to get in, and, I mean, the Dream Factory, people pay to get into that too, but, I mean, it's a charitable donation, we're not doing it to pat anybody's pocket, but.
Well, there's no reason for us to lose money, but there's no reason for us to appear like we're just making this so unaffordable.
Have we had any of those people complain about the cost of it? Yeah, I guess we have.
Well, I mean. Well, and that's where we run into the problem, if they want to dispute the length of time that we're there, and, we keep good records, so I mean, we always win that argument, but I understand where Flo's coming, I understand where you're coming from as well, I don't want to price gouge, but, I want to make sure that we're not just giving it away either, you know what I mean?
As in regards to, number 4 here on page 42. So do you have a list of criteria, what it is that you do things for free? I heard nonprofits and school events. Is that just, is that in the policy anywhere?
Nah, no.
Because the only reason I ask is somebody's gonna say like, hey, well, they did it for free and ours is, like I'm thinking about the Ozark Festival coming up for them once you guys say.
I mean, we probably should have one that outlines that. I mean, we do have a standby policy, but it does not really outline the financial aspect of it.
What qualifies for free?
And are we required by statute or something not to use one of the ambulances that are on duty? Or something like that?
No, we're not. In the intention, we can't ever have. But the problem is that it takes a truck out of the 911 rotation and we're running, then we're running short. And these standbys like the rodeos and stuff like that, they cannot leave. They have to stay, or if they do leave, they stop the show. And then that creates another issue right top. And like I said, we have done it. We will continue to do it when we have to, because I mean, we have to cover the event. But it's not a preferred practice.
So when we had, I think there was an ambulance at the pub crawl that the Lions did. So was that double time that we had?
That was just a mule, so that would have.
Oh, mule.
Yeah, that would have, the quick response vehicle.
Okay, so,
Yes. Employee that did that.
and those people came in.
Yeah.
Well, I can understand why you'd want the full service unit at a rodeo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And a policy, I mean, it could be just as easy as say, give us your not-for-profit letter, your tax exempt letter.
And I mean, a lot of times, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, when they do. I mean, the Dream Factory, Lions Club, the schools, and like I said, the only one that kind of falls out of that is the robotics competition. They insist on paying us, and
I didn't know we worked on robots.
No, but they may be working on ours.
It's the world of AI now.
That's-
Someone bring the automatic wrench. Okay, well, you've thought this through. If those numbers are sound, then we can go with them.
Is there a motion to approve those rates?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We have no new business announcements.
So when we had our budget meeting and you guys approved this year's budget, we spoke about command vehicles and the replacement of them. I had called after that meeting, well, it wasn't right after that meeting, like, I like to shop locally, I like to do things in the county when it's possible. I got a hold of the UK, because to do this with it being cost effective for us, I mean, it's expensive no matter which way you go, but, to buy it off state bid or state contract is the cheapest way to go to get the vehicles. So I got a hold of WK to see what they can do, if they could get close, and after kicking it back and forth for about a month, they really weren't able to. GM would not allocate vehicles to them that were specced for the state contract. If we could go buy a brand new vehicle off their lot, but we would pay probably double what we're gonna pay now. So I got a hold of the dealership that holds the state contract, which is Don Brown Chevrolet in St. Louis. And basically I was told when I called that it's based off allocation. They weren't sure what this year's allocation was gonna be, and it would then depend on where we fell in the pecking order once we actually said we wanted vehicles. And there was potential that we wouldn't get them all this year. Well, when I got back from vacation, I made a phone to follow up and see where we were. Apparently one of the vehicles that I requested is already in St. Louis, and that was the surprise bill that you guys approved tonight. And then the other one is due in a month. So I guess we are going to get our vehicles this year. So with that said, I know we talked about it then, but I just wanted to bring it back up because we're going to have to outfit these vehicles with the needed equipment to make them emergency vehicles. So we'll be going back in a month to go get the other one when it shows up. I don't know if you guys have any questions on that. I haven't got hard numbers yet because since we built the budget at the end of last year to now, prices are already going up. So it's gonna get a little bit weird. Pardon my expression, but not terrible, but it's going to be slightly more than what we initially anticipated. So I don't know if you guys have any questions or not, but
Have we ever bought a used vehicle?
we have. But with the way the used vehicle rates are going now, to get a dependable used vehicle, I think we're going to be paying the same amount of money that we would be paying to get a vehicle off state contract.
And we had troubles with that, didn't we?
We've had some, nothing terrible. I mean, for
transmission.
yeah. So, I mean, some, but nothing terrible. But we got lucky on that one that we found. So, I mean, it was cheap, but that was also 2019, I think, is when we bought that. That was before everything got ridiculous. And so the one that we bought in 2019 is the one we're going to decommission and we're going to put on gov deals. I'm a little anxious to find out how much we get off of that, see what the difference is in what we paid versus how it bids out. But I just want to make you guys aware of what was going on. I like I said, I hadn't really said a lot about it because I didn't know a lot about it yet, and that potential was there that we probably may not get it.
So these will come with a warranty, and I'm assuming then we can do the warranty work here. Okay.
Yeah.
Any new information on the catastrophic engine failure in Ford's? Any response from Ford Motor Company?
No, we reached out to Ford customer care, and we were basically told that there's nothing they can really do to help us right now, which I wasn't. Actually, I was surprised because I've been down that pathway before a long time ago, and they actually did do something to help us, but this time they did not entertain that idea. I know Flo's talked to some of the other ambulance manufacturers, and he hasn't really heard anything back as far as other ambulance services having the same issues that we're having. And I reached out to our sales rep to see if you know, that he knows of anybody and we haven't heard anything back from them.
Well, thank you for trying.
Are there any other announcements?
Should I mention the sign at the, is that okay, or put it on the next agenda?
You can mention it, we'll put it on the next agenda.
I've gone by the site where we're gonna build, and I thought, not a sign there saying future home of Pettis County Ambulance District Station number 3. To better serve our community. I like the word community because it goes with State Fair Community College.
Put it up on April 1. They won't know whether to believe it.
I think that's,
I think it's a good idea.
yeah.
And I don't think it'd bust our budget with it.
That on the next agenda, and maybe have some kind of a prize for that or something.
Okay.
Are there any other announcements? If not, I would take a motion to.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.